Guess what? Which is it? Do you have to do it? Or do you get to do it? Which is it for you? What a great reframe. Do you have to do whatever it is that you're doing? Or do you look at it as like, it's a privilege. It's a privilege that you get to do the things you do. And what's even cooler than that is if you don't like doing the things you're doing, you can do new things. Interesting, huh? It's really interesting. And yet, what does it take to start doing them new things? Well, it takes a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. It takes realizing that life is happening for you, not to you. You're not a victim. You get to choose what you want. And then you get to act that out. And if what you have is something you don't really want, first you gotta accept the fact that you created this. You need to take ownership, extreme ownership. I think so many people, that really is what gets them stuck, is that extreme ownership. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we were programmed from our earliest age to externalize every single little thing that we haven't spent the time. This is the new piece that's coming into the manosphere right now, and into humanity really, is people are getting set into their corners. They're having these tower moments, these rock bottom experiences, and you're realizing that there's only one option. If you have more than one option, but there's really one option for you to truly move forward, for you to truly come out better than how you went in. And it's scary because we think, man, why is this happening to me? Why me? And when it's happening, it's the most painful experience ever. I've been through so many of these things. And a lot of it, I don't know if you're ready to hear this, but a lot of this is if you're in a survival mode and you're always worried about, things are getting good, it's just a matter of time. Have you ever had that? Where you're always just like preparing for a worst case scenario? Well, that's a trauma response. That's a program that's inside of you that you don't feel worthy of having good things happen. Just close your eyes right now. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And just hold it. 3, 2, 1. Exhale. Now tell yourself this. I'm worthy to have good things happen to me today. I am worthy to have good things happen to me today. I am worthy to have good things happen to me today. Do you believe it? Or are you carrying around all this guilt, all this shame, all this sadness, all this loss, all this grief, all this low self-worth that you literally are self-sabotaging? Are you? Can you pull back and look at your patterns and say, yeah, things were getting really good, and then this other part of me started showing up, and in doing that, I started creating some havoc and creating some drama within the situation, and I brought about my own demise. There's a book that's called The Big Leap. Gay Hendricks is the author. And in it, he talks about how when we have traumatic experiences and we have a lot of emotional baggage, that when things start to go really good, we hit something that's called the upper limit. And it's energetically, but it's an image of self. A lot of times we'll see this in celebrities, where their rise to fame is meteoric, and then for some reason something happens and then they crash and burn. And I was listening to something the other day, an interview with a celebrity, and it seems like he's probably a pretty successful guy, has some financial stability under him, and he was said that he was at his home that has acreage, and he just wakes up and he's looking out at the land and saying it just didn't feel like it was his. Like it felt like he was in the wrong place. Like he didn't understand why he was there. And he knows that this is based on trauma. And it is, like, true story, which is what kind of got me started today with this message. Is so yesterday I was in my weekly therapy, and I love therapy. I really don't know if I will ever do a time without having therapy. As a little bit of a plug for mental health, a lot of people write it off. That's sort of the old, mindset of acting like, nah, I can figure this shit out. I'm a man. I'm going to suck it up and tough it out and just fucking stay after it and grind and work hard. Cool. When you hit the lows, who shows up? And so for me, therapy is a sounding board. It's having somebody that's on my team but doesn't have to bullshit me, right? For acceptance. They could be honest with me about what I'm saying, what I'm processing, what I'm reflecting on, and there's not an emotional connection. Especially a lot of people put a lot of that pressure on their partners, their lovers, and man, they're not built for that. No one's built for that shit, right? That's why I think therapy is important. So yesterday, I'm sitting there hemming and hawing. Yes, I do that too. I still complain. And so what was I complaining about? So I own property. I own land here in northern New Mexico, and I rent my ranch house when I'm not there. I have a few properties, and in full transparency, it's the ratings I have are all 5-star. It's been an incredible success. I believe that I have the gift of hospitality, and it's a really special place to share. And recently, the county decided that they want to start regulating this stuff in a place like New Mexico that's super rural, already has a relatively low cost of living. But you get a lot of people that come from cities and urban areas where affordability is a big issue. So I understand that complex problem very intimately. I've actually run for city council multiple times, and I learned a lot about the system. They were failed attempts, but I was willing to at least put my fucking ass out there and not just make noise, but try and be the solution to the problems I saw in my community. And I realized how corrupt even just local systems were. So anyhow, out of nowhere, they passed these new policies, and it's a fucking beast, man. It's like there's all this bullshit paperwork, and it's just an overreach. So I have all this resistance to doing this, because I believe that in this area, it's an overreach of government, right? In any area, it's an overreach of government, but it's not even like it's a streamlined process. It's very burdensome, and so I'm just feeling all this resistance towards it. And I was hemming and hawing yesterday, and I know that this problem isn't maybe I truly identified with your problem and what you're going through, and I get that. But I'm sitting there and I'm literally with the mindset like, hey, I'm feeling stressed. I had a lot of anxiety, like having to do all of these little circus tricks in terms of like paperwork and requesting all of this. It's all government bullshit. And, I've gone through these systems as a veteran, man. It's like, it's burdensome. And I have this anger. There's anger in me because I also know that it's just an overreach of government in this particular instance, which, I resist that. I don't like it. And so I'm talking to the therapist and she says, can I interrupt you? And I said, yeah. She's all, do you think it would help you if you changed your language? You've been saying that you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to do all this shit. So don't you feel like you should be honored to do that? Like, you get to do it. Like, and I'm like, oh man, she's so right. There was times that I could have only have dreamed of this situation. And I'm sure that even you guys hearing this, like, man, I'm a landowner. I got 21 acres and a 5-star Airbnb that makes an incredible amount of money. And it's like, I'm over here complaining about doing some paperwork. And there's probably some people that would kill for that, man. Kill for that opportunity, right? And be like, shit, man, like, I would love that. And there's probably some of you that don't even believe that could ever be a reality because of just how difficult your situation is right now. But I'm telling you, man, things can change in an instant if you believe. And it is that reframe. It's like all my anxiety went away from me just shifting that, like, I don't have to do this shit. I get to do it. And there's still a part of me, because of my limiting beliefs that still have some residue in terms of money and success and, just all the environment that I was raised in, that now that I am gaining success in my own right, I work my ass off in a lot of different areas. And the number one area that I put in the work is on myself every single day. So if you're hearing this message and you're having a tower moment or a rock bottom experience, I'm here to tell you, do not look for a quick fix. Yes, you want relief and you don't want to hit the escape routes. You don't want to hit addictive behaviors and patterns and doing shit that doesn't improve your situation. It gives you a little relief. I mean, I'd much rather have you go to something that gives you a little relief than to choose to delete yourself. But I can promise you that there's a better way beyond both of those. That's what I'm trying to communicate here with you today. And just that small reframe of saying, wait, I get to do this. I'm a landowner. I'm a property owner, man. I own land. And that's a beautiful thing. And I get to do this. And so it's just like this fire got lit inside of me. And I'm like, I'm turning this thing in tomorrow if I can. Like all the fear, all the anxiety, it all went away. And I hope that me sharing that with you inspires you a little bit to say that, just reframe that, man, you don't have to do the self-discovery work, but you also don't have to get high. You also don't have to waste hours and hours and hours on end just checking out and watching other people perform at a high level, right? You can look at life and say, man, I get to work on myself. And in doing so, that's the greatest return on my investment. It's greater than anything. The number one investment that you can make right now. Everybody's all caught up on whether it's a crypto or real estate. The number one investment on this planet is you investing in you, being a better version of yourself. How do you do that? How do you become a better version of you? It's by doing the things you didn't do yesterday, doing them today. I'm going to say that one more time. If you want to become a better version of you, you need to do the things you didn't do yesterday, today. You need to do them today. And I'm talking about positive things. There's some things you need to not do today that you did yesterday. It's the shift. It's the greatest flex. This is not the popularity contest here, right? I keep saying this. If you're new here, welcome. Welcome to the team. Results Kill Excuses is about doing life on life's terms, period, right? It's about self-rescue. It's about becoming 1% better every single day. And the way you do that is by looking at your wins and also looking at areas that you can be better in every day. And that's where most of you will probably fail, is because if you're going through a tower moment or a rock bottom situation, I've seen this time and time and time again, man. I ain't new at this. I've helped so many men, primarily men, but I've also helped women realize that if you just want relief, right, once you get it, you're going to fall back into your old patterns. And that's not this. This is not a seasonal thing. This is a from here on out. This is a commitment to you and yourself that you are going to get 1% better from here on out for the rest of your life. And it doesn't matter how young or how old you feel you are, your time is now. The other piece that I truly do believe with all my heart, mind, and soul and strength is that if you're hearing this message, and there's a difference between you're listening and hearing. Hearing means that it's hitting on a deeper level of who you are. You're connecting, you're resonating, you're relating to it. If you're hearing this message, I hope you're ready to hear what I'm about to say. It means that you're chosen. What do I mean by that? I believe that the planet right now, humanity, is going through a shift, a transformation. The old world of, control and power and greed and money and scarcity and just all the bullshit, man, corruption, is starting to fade. And what is starting to expand is the pure divine source energy that's within us. Humanity is so tired of this old model. And it's not even that we're tired. It is a part of the natural process of evolution that we are going through on this planet. And some of that shit, that sounds esoteric, but I say it with absolute clarity that is something that I absolutely believe in. Is that you're chosen. And what are you chosen to do? Is to be a difference maker. Is to be someone. The reason why you're going through these tower moments is these tower moments aren't to destroy you. They're not a judgment against you. They are a course correction. You have been living a false life. You are caught up in the bullshit. And now is the experience that is showing up for you. And it's an experience that you asked for, that you are requiring to happen to you for you to be awakened spiritually, energetically, to align with your true self, so that you can heal and grow and truly step into the divine life force energy on this planet. That's what I believe this is all about. And yet, when we are fighting against this, it's because we have an ego. We have an identity as the human that we think we are. And we have emotional attachments to things that we don't want to lose. We don't want to let go of. And I just had this happen. I just had a relationship that was just about a year in the works expire. And I truly believe that the root of that expiration was the fact that we were not aligned energetically. It's painful. It's painful. I really care about this person. I really care about people attached to this person. And yet it dawned on me, I'm like, I've had this experience happen before, is that when you're not energetically aligned and you're being called, you're being chosen, you're being called to step into your highest self for the greatest good of all humanity. This is like, it does take sacrifice. That if the person that you are currently with is not also on that path and really like aligned with the calling energetically to serve humanity, right? Then there's going to be a gap and there's going to be distance. And no matter how hard you want to keep it together, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And you're going to create more and more anguish and suffering and hardship for yourself by trying to force it to work versus surrendering and trusting that, maybe there's a future, but in this season, there's a necessity for you to truly let go and allow for that space to be filled with your purpose, with your calling, and with the Spirit of God. I think a lot of you are experiencing that in these dark times of your life, is like, and I think most people have heard this, is that, when you don't look to God enough, well, we get put in situations where that's the only thing we can look to is for God to show up for us. And nothing I'm trying to express is an easy process. It's just all challenging stuff. It's all challenging, but you have the power to be successful through this. I truly do believe with all my heart, mind, body, and soul that you're chosen, which also means that you are prepared, which also means that as challenging as this may feel right here, right now, that you will get through the other side. Don't quit. Don't give up. Keep moving forward. Be kind to yourself. Be forgiving towards yourself. That's one of the hardest things to do. It was for me to forgive myself. I think there's still times that I carry around some guilt, man. Like, fuck. Wishing things were different, right? Wishing things were different. And what's more important right now is to just stay focused on what's right in front of you. 1% better today. What didn't you do yesterday that needs to get done today? And the way that I hold myself accountable is by writing this shit down. Writing down these things as to what matters is so important. I think it's a real big shift that I'm going to be able to support you with. If you're someone that's looking for some additional resources. I am getting ready to launch a 1-year daily journal that's going to help simplify journaling and really organizing gratitude and chalking up your wins, chalking up areas that you can get better, but also focusing in on daily, on several things every single day that matter to you that you're going to accomplish. Whether it's like, I'm going to get in that workout, I'm going to do that, I'm going to cook that healthy meal and do the meal prepping, I'm going to ask that girl out on a date, even if rejection is the answer. It doesn't matter, right? I'm going to, do all this government paperwork. I'm going to apply for that new job. I'm going to, go back to school. I mean, whatever you need to do, I'm going to ask for help. I'm going to download the Results Kill Excuses app and actually start doing the work. What matters to you? And I think that's a big shift, is really identifying what matters versus just goals, right? Goals, man. So many of us have violated, right, our goals. And that's why we lack self-confidence. So the way you get self-confidence back is by setting the bar really low, jumping over it, walking over it, stepping over it. And it feels stupid because you're like, that's so dumb, but it matters. Just getting over the bar little by little every single day, that is how you improve. But a lot of you, if you want that quick fix, this ain't it, right? This ain't it. And I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here to challenge you, to inspire you, to mentor you, to work with you, to walk along your path with you. But you got to do the work. I've got to do the work. And I'm still working. I got a lot of work to do on myself. I know I'm closer than ever before to truly showing up as the highest version of myself. And I know that every single day I put in the work. I truly do value the conversations, the comments, the connections that are being made here. And I just, it touches my heart every single day. I really do believe that millions upon millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of men all around this planet have been searching for something like this. We know that there's something more than just the bag, just the body, and just the chick. There's something more than that, because all those things are fleeting, right? Our bodies, you can be physically strong, but then you start to age and it's like, you start to lose that. So, okay, well, that goes away. We know the chicks can walk out of our lives, and we know money is fleeting, right? It comes in and it goes. What remains is who you truly are on the inside. Who you show up as on the worst days of your life. Hey, there we go. Love that. Love that. Love that. Oh, here comes another one. I love military aircraft, man. That's the sign of freedom. If you ain't from the U.S., man, we love the military aircraft. Right? Peace through superior firepower. That was a nice flyby. I got my juices flowing today. Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you to all those that serve. Whether you're serving in the armed forces, whether you're serving your community, however you are showing up in service, it matters. It does matter. Don't let your service go unnoticed. I'll give you a challenge. It really made me feel so good yesterday. This is not bragging. So I'm at a grocery store yesterday, and it is the season, right? It's the holiday season, and I love being generous. I think that helps me to shift I know it shifts my relationship with money, which if you're coming from a upbringing that was really strapped for cash, man, that's plaguing you. I can promise you that all of your beliefs around money, man, they have to elevate. You have to shift that. You have to believe that This is an infinite, abundant universe. For you to win doesn't mean someone else loses. And I can promise you that by having more financial stability in your life, right, you're gonna be able to do more things, thus provide more opportunities for people. I believe that money in the hands of good people do great things. And yet there's all these limiting beliefs about greed and, they're lucky or they're doing something wrong to get that. And it's envy and jealousy. And yet a real practical way for you to truly shift your relationship with money is if you're holding on because you're like, man, I don't even got enough money to pay the bills. I ain't got enough money to buy Christmas presents, whatever it is. I was there just last year, man. Like just last year, I told you guys, I lost the job in the summer and man, I was scraping by. I thought I was going to even lose my ranch. And, the way that I shifted my mindset is by being generous. That money is energy. That's why it's called currency, cash flow. It's energy. And if you feel like if you let go of it, it's not going to come back to you. Well, guess what? It's not. Because that's your belief. And that's how it's a feeling. How do you feel about money? Money is so triggering. And one way that I help to improve my relationship with it is by blessing others. And so yesterday I was at the grocery store buying some things. And this little old lady came up and she had like 4 or 5 items. And I told the register, I said, hey, can you scan her stuff so I could pay for it? And she's like, sure. And so it was a little old lady and she's like, I was like, but don't tell her until you're done. And she's like, well, she's going to notice. I'm like, no, she won't. She won't notice because most people aren't used to these kind of acts of kindness. And so she starts scanning it and the lady's like, oh, wait, that's my stuff. She did kind of notice. And the lady's like, yeah, I know. And so then I pay for it. And the lady's like, wait, did you just buy my stuff? I said, yeah. And she's like, like, she was so touched. Random acts of kindness. And that shifts my energy on money is to just, it's abundant. It's abundant. Give it away. That's a powerful thing, is to give it away. Another challenge is if you go out to a restaurant, tip the total. When was the last time you tipped the total? The total comes out to $105, give a $105 tip. It'll change your mind. You'll be like, man, that's too much. What do you mean that's too much? If you act like that's too much to give, then you're telling yourself that that's too much for you to receive. And how you treat others is how the universe is going to treat you, right? If you want to receive more blessings, then go and bless people. If you kind of feel like your confidence is down and you feel like maybe not enough people notice you and give you compliments, go compliment people with no strings attached. Just go compliment. I went to the post office yesterday and there was a guy and he was wearing a nice shirt. I said, hey man, I really like your shirt. That looks good on you. Man, he lit up so much. He's like, really? And he's like telling me where to buy it and stuff. I'm like, yeah, man, that's awesome. High five, bro. This doesn't cost a lot. It doesn't cost anything. Even if it's money attached, it doesn't cost you anything. Even another thing, right? I was getting an oil change and I had an appointment and these people had locked themselves out of the car and they were all freaking out. And they came and asked me if I had a clothes hanger. Well, I didn't have a clothes hanger. I had some hiking poles and they were all freaked out and they thought I was like, well, have you guys tried pulling back the window? And anyways, I got their car unlocked, right? And I felt pressed for time, but I made the time and it made me feel like I made a difference yesterday in the world around me. And I believe that you could do the same. And in doing that, guess what? Your life will start to change. You'll get out of the pity party and you'll start to realize that There is a special gift inside of you. And the more that you share that gift, right, the more you receive. Those that help others will be helped. Those that, right, refresh others will be refreshed. Try it. I challenge you to try it. Go do a random act of kindness that challenges you. Especially if it challenges you, where it's like, oh man, I don't know if I really want to, I don't know if I have enough for me and this and that. Like, man, don't do it always expecting something in return, but just go do it. Go do it. Take those leaps of faith. Go share some love out there. It will come back to you. It may not come back like dollar for dollar in like this weird way, but it comes back to you in a different way where it helps you to grow and expand and to elevate and to heal. And that's really the biggest takeaway, is this is the healing game, and you're worthy of that. I love you guys so much. I love you so much. Keep commenting, keep connecting, stay locked in. Stay locked in. This is an endurance race. If you're here now, be here 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Don't be looking for a quick escape out, saying, man, okay, when is this going to be over? No, because when one thing ends, the next thing begins. That is the game of life. So everything you're going through now is preparing you for something in the future. The challenges just get better. The storms don't go away. You get stronger. You get more equipped to handle the storms. Are you ready? If you are, let's go. Let's stay after it. Keep going. Don't give up. I love you guys. You know the drill. Results kill excuses, because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. Greg's out.